has been the singer of the band with the dot, Fun, but in the end he doesn't have any fun. So he is now releasing his new and first solo recording, Grand Romantic, which will be released in Germany on June 12th. We met Nate Ruess for an interview. My name is Ann-Kathrin and you are watching Audiophile TV. Enjoy! Hello Ned, I'm very glad to meet you today. How many times did you watch the movie Titanic?
I've only seen the movie Titanic two. I want to say, I know I saw it once in the movie theater because I remember I went with my sister and her friend, and they were really annoying the whole time because they were like, we were probably like around between 10 and 13 years old, and they were like giggling the whole entire time because they thought that Leonardo DiCaprio was so cute. And then I think I told myself that I was never going to watch it again.
Okay, but why did you do your new video in this set of Titanic?
Well, it was just this weird, dirty pool out in the middle of the desert. I guess that's why they did shoot a lot of like filming stuff where it's supposed to look like it's in the middle of the ocean. But it really was about the size of, kind of like just, it wasn't very big, but it was made to look like it was this massive, vast ocean. But the water was as dirty as it looks in the video. It was like very, very dirty. And I don't know, but I wish they had newer technology. It was probably the same technology that they were using when they shot the Titanic, because it was freezing.
Okay, but it's not all fake in your music, like in the movie.
Well, no, it's not all fake. It's very. And I had to sing the whole entire time. The director Anthony would keep making me like sing the top of the song, and I thought it was strange because when you make a music video, you're lip syncing the whole entire time. And like, why does he want me to sing the song like in the middle of like? I couldn't even breathe, like there was water getting into my face. But I just kind of trust what he does. And anytime, I've always had luck with him in the past. So if he wants me to stand in, or swim in the freezing water and sing my song, even though I'm not supposed to, then...
I see. But why do you now release your solo album? Don't have any fun with fun, or?
No, I've had a great time in fun. I think that afforded me to want to release a solo album. I think that a lot of things got accomplished, and I've been making music for 15 years. I've been in bands I've been making music professionally for 15 years. I've been in bands for almost 20 years.
Even punk bands, right?
Yeah, stuff like that. So I've always had to, I've never had the opportunity. This is something that I always wanted to do, and I think that because we were able to achieved so many great things on the last album, I think that inspired me to want to go and make an album on my own.
So do you think you now are able to do a record on your own because you had so much experiences during the last years, so you know what to do, how to produce an album? Or?
Well, I think those experiences just helped. They made me more comfortable in my own skin. I think that a band is an amazing thing, but there's a lot of hiding that you can do in the process, and I'm just at a point where I'm very very proud of the music that I've written in the past, and more so about what I'm writing right now, and I'm kind of I feel a little more fearless and excited to kind of go out on my own, and it's just a cool. I'm at such a probably my favorite point in my life thus far, and I thought, like, why not spend some time alone? I've never had that opportunity.
So you're a little bit tired of being a team player?
Well, I'm not a great team player anyway, so.
Okay.
No, I'm honestly, like, have you ever, it's like when you're in a relationship and then you have the opportunity to be single. Sometimes that can be awesome.
I see. So you can go out without telling anybody what to do now, or?
Yeah, exactly. It's all about, it's like totally being single. I didn't
and
really
to party all time now. Now you can party.
actually. I find that when I'm single, I'm usually like just like at home watching TV the most.
Titanic, for example.
Of course, all the time, all
the
day. I
time.
have it on repeat. Actually, in every room. Every room in my house has a flat screen showing that last scene in Titanic where they just keep repeating each other's names back and forth until one of them sinks.
I see. As a child, you had a disease or an illness with your lungs, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would just get pneumonia a lot. And I think I had asthma too. I was just like a wimpy kid.
Do you think that this helped to be or to become a singer because you had to maybe breathe in another way or something like this?
Maybe. I was a smoker for a long time, especially like when I felt like my voice was like really, really strong. When I was younger, I was smoking the whole entire time. I think sometimes it's like that old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
So you wanted to get a darker voice, or why did you smoke?
I did.
Okay.
At one point. But I smoked because I just couldn't stop until I tried to stop, and then I did. I was just looking at a friend of mine who needs to stop smoking.
Okay.
But
don't smoke. Smoking is bad.
Smoking is very bad. I don't do it anymore, and I'm much happier because of it. So I would just say that having pneumonia, all those type of respiratory problems, I'm sure that they helped me just my voice become stronger. It's a muscle.
Did you have any vocal lessons as a teenager or until today, maybe? Even?
No, sometimes what happens is I drink too much sparkling water, like during the day, and it really messes with your voice. Like as soon as I quit smoking, I discovered sparkling water.
Okay.
And so I would just like drink it all day, every day, and then I had to go to the doctor, and they told me that like I can't do that anymore on tour because the bubbles somehow mess with my voice. So
you're not kidding.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear about this.
There's like a whole bunch. I mean, I know people that won't eat dairy before they have to sing and stuff like that. I don't really pay attention to any of that stuff. I mean, I like to sing through it, but there was a point when I quit smoking, and I was drinking a lot of sparkling water that my voice just wasn't as strong as it used to be. And I still even think now, like right now, I just finished an album, so I don't sing most of the time when I'm making an album. I only sing when I have to sing. But so I've had to like be. I've just been touring around Europe right now, just playing a few things acoustic, and I find myself like losing my voice a lot easier. It's because my voice isn't used to all these new songs, but pretty soon it does get used to it and it becomes stronger.
And do you have a bigger range in your solo songs now or on your solo album?
Yeah, I try and always expand a little bit out of my voice. I've appreciated my voice more and more each time. When I first started singing in my first band, I only did it because no one else wanted to be the singer, and I didn't know how to do anything else.
But singer is the coolest member of the band, isn't it?
I mean, the bass player is kind of the coolest.
Okay, or the drummer.
The drummer's pretty cool too. The bass player probably makes the least amount of money though, so you know.
But has the most girls.
Probably the most girls.
Yeah.
I also know most of the bass players I know sleep the longest, like just during the day. They're really hard to wake up. Yeah, when I was younger, I was like, oh, I have to be the singer, and I just wanted to be in music. I didn't really particularly love my voice, but people started saying, oh man, you can really sing. And so every album I try and learn something new, bring something new to not just the songs, because as a songwriter I'm crazy, you know, and I don't really pay attention to the vocals. I only pay attention to the songs that are in my head and the fact that I'm the one singing them. But on this album, yeah, I made a conscious effort to write songs that could kind of showcase, that would let me like go kind of low and then also go really high.
So when you have your songs in your head, do you have the melody or the harmonies or the complete image?
The complete song.
Okay.
It'll more so sound like the music and just a melody. I won't have the lyrics. I can't just like start. I could write a song for you right now and just start singing it, and I would hear all these different instruments and stuff. But the lyrics I don't hear. Those I have to like sit in my room and kind of spend a couple of days and actually like think about it.
But it is you who is doing all the lyrics and the composing by yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
And also with Fun, have you been the main songwriter for the band?
Yeah, like an idea, it'd be the same type of thing. Like an idea would start in my head, and then it's, you know, I would come to them for I'd say, okay, well, it's got to sound like this, and we get it so far to sounding like it did in my head, and then you take other people's kind of talent, and those guys are extremely talented, and you kind of then start to give people a little more artistic leeway within, I guess, within the songs that I created. But yeah, as far as lyrics, melodies, all that stuff.
What has been your idea for the solo album? To make it completely different or to the same again?
No, it feels like a natural progression for me as a songwriter. I just wanted to the producers on the last album, and I'd done a song with Pink, and I'd done a song with Eminem. They had worked on the last album as well. We just had a great working relationship, and I had started to work on songs for this album with them, and I started to just feel like, hey, why not just do it on my own? Like I always wanted that opportunity.
But has the process been different now for you doing this?
Well, the producer Jeff and I mean, we did that for We Are Young. It was like he and I went in and recorded a big bulk of that song before anybody had even heard it. So we had gotten used to each other, even like with the Pink song. Like he'd gotten used to me. He's pretty great at kind of reading my mind, knowing exactly what chord to play and what I'm looking for, and we have a great time while we do it too.
You mentioned Pink and also Eminem. Did you just give them a call and said, "Hey, I'm Nate. I would like to sing with you"? Or
no, they reached out to me. I don't do very well pleading with people. I lose every time I plead.
Okay, so they just gave you a call, or
begging apparently looks really bad on me. They just called me. I had at the time, I think when I was working with Pink, I had a hit song in the United States, and it was kind of like the first time that I had a song on the radio, and she just wanted to write with me. So
what did you think when she called you? Wow, now I made it, or?
No, I was kind of like, I don't know, I got a busy schedule, I don't really want to do it. And everybody was like, you gotta go do it. They're like, she's really big across the world.
Sure.
And I was like, okay. And so I took a couple days off and went and visited with her, and I had the best time. She was amazing, and I'm so happy that it is something that I did. I initially didn't want to sing on the song either, and she kind of forced me to do it, and I'm really glad that she did.
I love the song, by the way, so I think the harmony is a little bit special.
Yeah, we found out that we sing really great together. When she said, hey, I really want to make this a duet, I want to make this like a duet, will you sing it with me? I was like, no, I'm not going to sing it with you. I want to write it, and that's all there is to it. And she was like, well, why don't you just, we'll get someone else to sing it, but why don't you go into the studio, why don't you just go sing your part? And I was like, okay. And I walked in and I sang it, and our voices sounded beautiful together, but I was still for a while just like, I don't want to be on the song.
How is it for you when you're writing for other artists your songs? Are you sometimes sad that you don't perform it by yourself, or is it okay for you?
Most of the other ones are just songs where I'm kind of like, it just feels a little more like work.
Okay.
The Eminem song felt special too. It's one of my favorite songs that I'd ever written, and it moved him to write verses around the song and kind of structure the song. But it was based off of a song that I'd already had. But with other people, it's kind of just like, most of the time, it's kind of just like, oh, it'd be fun to just write a random song for someone, and
I'm being paid for it.
Yeah, well,
Hopefully.
that was great. We had it. Yep, that felt like more like creating, as opposed to, because I really wanted to get my foot in the door and just see what it was like to write for other people. I've been there. I've done it. Probably won't do it very often anymore.
And now for the new album, you invited other artists by
Exactly.
yourself to
That's what I'm
cooperate.
saying. It was my turn.
Yes. Lica Lee, for example.
Yeah.
I didn't know that she is famous in US too.
She is. She's. Well, I mean, she's just. She is. She's a wonderful singer, and she's highly acclaimed, like critically acclaimed. Her live shows do phenomenal, and she's just. She's a friend of a friend, and we were having dinner one night, and everybody probably had one too many drinks, and everybody's like, oh, there's a microphone like in this house that we're recording at, like. Let's just sing along, and then.
But did you know what she did before her
Yeah.
songs?
Oh yeah, of course, big fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is funny because we are young, and luckily I follow rivers on my MP3 player when I'm going for jogging. So.
Woo! Yeah. It's a big accomplishment to make someone's jogging playlist.
Yes.
It's something I think about very frequently when I write a song. Is like, would I jog to it?
Really? No, you're
Or would I
kidding.
cry to it? Stuff like that. Would I, if I was in an orthodontist's office, would I get my braces tightened up to it?
Okay. But what is your intention to make music, or when you're writing songs? Is it really to make someone cry or laugh?
No, I think it's to give someone something to relate to. and if you talk about a movie, as corny as this might sound, is to have, you want your life to kind of feel like a movie or feel like a soundtrack. To put a song on when you're feeling a certain way, and feel like you can relate to it. And I got into music because it did that for me, and I became obsessed, and I really wanted the opportunity to do the same thing for others.
So it is a little bit cathartic for you? Like a lot of musicians tell me that it is like a catharsis to write songs.
Yeah, I mean it's therapy. It has to be. I don't really own photos. I don't do memories. I'm just not a big. I'm very much like a big like in the present type of person. I think it's just the way that I was raised, and I think music is a great way for me to kind of look back on the past, especially look back on the past emotionally. I can listen back to a song that I wrote 15 years ago, and I know exactly what I was feeling and exactly why, and I know the experiences, that all the ways that I learned from it. It's amazing. It's better than a photo, that's for sure.
Okay, but life in Iowa doesn't sound like trucks and rock and roll, or I don't know. Some.
I grew up
really
in Arizona, which is far worse than Iowa.
Okay.
There are a lot of trucks, not a lot of rock and roll, but just a lot of trucks, and it's great to be different. It's great to be different as a songwriter. It's great to be different as a human being. It's great to reference the things that are happening in the world, and not feel like you have to necessarily follow it, but you can be inspired by it, or you can choose not to be, and you can just be yourself.
So what do you think can you give to your listeners from yourself?
I think I can give them, as a performer, I can sing songs that hopefully they know if they're coming to the concert, and they work hard, they pay a lot of money for a ticket. Like, I can give them a show that I really hope that they can turn around and it can have moved them, or just taken their mind off of a long work day, given them like a reason to have a good time with their friends. And I think that even listening to music, listening to music isn't, you don't have to listen to music by yourself. You can have a great time with your friends listening to music. And, I think sometimes as a songwriter, even talking about this right now, it makes me think like, oh yeah, sometimes I don't write music just to, feel sad or for someone to just get it themselves. It's a lot of times music can be for so many different people, like in one room to listen to.
So it's just for the moment that you're writing your music, or do you want to create something for the next century?
I think it'd be nice I think infamy for doing something creative and positive is a wonderful thing. It's like the Beatles, 50 years later, still is the most important band in my life, and I owe them so much. If they didn't exist, or they existed and then went away, like I would lose out, as would a lot of my other musician friends.
You listen to the Beatles. To which other musicians or bands did you listen as a child or teen?
As a teen, I grew up in the 90s, so I listened to like a lot of alternative music, a lot of stuff like Pearl Jam. But as a kid, I listened to my dad's record collection, and he had a lot of Fleetwood Mac, the Beatles, Cat Stevens.
Still on vinyl, I guess?
Yeah, all on vinyl.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. I have his vinyl collection now. I stole it.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah, well, stealing isn't cool, but...
Wow. Borrow. Let's call it borrow, so it is.
Let's call it borrow.
Better.
Let's don't steal.
Yeah.
You going to tell the camera?
He borrowed it only.
Yeah.
That's better than steel. But how did you manage to get from punk band to pop music now?
I think it was just a natural progression. I mean, I still don't consider myself a pop artist. I think it was just whatever is inspiring me is what I'm going to write. That's the great thing, just about making an album on my own, is just being able to cover so many different genres, not feel like I belong to anything, but feel like it belongs to me.
So are you listening to jazz, to classical music, to nowadays?
Yeah, anything. I mean, really, nothing. Everything moves me. Even songs that some would consider to be the worst songs ever written.
Okay, which were the worst songs, in your opinion?
God, there's one song that comes to mind, but I've since met the person that wrote it, and they're a lovely, wonderful person, so I'm just not going to throw them under the car like that.
Okay, I see.
That's the thing, is you can't judge. I've learned as a fan of music, and when you grow up and you're so bratty and you're like, oh, I have the best taste in music. It's no one, you say, oh, that band's terrible, and you've learned like that if they're singing and they're making something positive and it has a positive impact on people, like you really can't, just because it's not for you doesn't mean that it's not great.
I think if there's any effort behind, if people really try to create something, you have to respect it.
Absolutely. I could not imagine. I'm ashamed for all the things that I've said that I hate and everything. That's why I find the internet nowadays so strange, with people constantly commenting, and saying like rude things. It's just, it's very strange to have such negative opinions. It's better to even leave negative opinions just to yourself and seek out positive ones.
And I think 90% of the comments in the internet are bad comments.
Totally.
Because it is easier just to write.
Yeah, and you feel like, it's so funny because you feel like you're being so different and you have a great opinion. If people start saying something is great, someone has to just come in and say that it's bad just to be the person that's different. But I don't think that you're all that different for doing that. I don't know. That's just the world today.
But I think with your music, you give the world something positive.
I hope so, and that's what I really wanted to do with this album. That's what I really want to do with my first single. It's called Nothing Without Love, and it is an acknowledgement of all the wonderful things that life can bring. And it doesn't mean that my life isn't, I'm not going to have hard periods or rough days or like sad moments. I mean, I have those more than happy moments, but it's about taking those happy moments and acknowledging them, and not just waiting for the next bad round to happen.
I think it is sometimes also a decision to feel good, and so then you feel better if you decide in this moment not to have the sadness inside you.
Yeah, a lot of times, definitely. It always helps me to just start to think about all the great people that I've worked with, all the great people that I get to work with, and just the beautiful, amazing people in my life.
Which are a lot of amazing artists you
I've been a very
with.
lucky man. I mean, in all of my bands, I've worked and written songs with just unbelievable songwriters, and even working with people like Pink, people like Eminem,
Brian Wilson.
I mean, Brian Wilson of all people.
Brian Wilson.
How do you not? I can have a bad day, and I can just think like, wow, I got to sing with Brian Wilson, and it's a different barometer for different people. It is wherever you are in your life, but I'm sure everybody has some sort of Brian Wilson type of moment they can look back on and be happy. And and tying it back to just the way that I feel about music, the way that I digest music, I hope that my album, or that Nothing Without Love, the song, can help people kind of get to that spot, in the middle of their day.
And end of May, we will have your new album, which will bring us positive vibes.
Definitely. Well, it'll bring some negative vibes every now and then. I think it's always important it can be important to acknowledge, the sad moments and actually feel them, so that you're kind of reminded and you can learn from them. It's something that I'm kind of learning to do, and I found that when you write about it, you learn a little quicker.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Feel. Boom, 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 boom. Feel.